This one's a little more challenging. For sure, there's a stretch factor involved. And how do I know there's a stretch factor? Well, I wrote the example. But also because the point that was at 0, 1 ends up here. And the point that was at negative 1, 4 ends up way down here at 8. So the fact that the point that's closer to that asymptote, this point, is actually at 2, actually negative 2, and not at 1, tells me there's definitely a stretch factor of negative 2. There's a multiplier of negative 2. Now, I also point out like this, it didn't move left or right at all. The asymptotes, both these graphs, they level off in the same place. So there's no shift of up or down. It is strictly a multiplier of negative 2. And that's confirmed by the fact that the point that was at 4, if I multiply that point by negative 2, I do get down here to negative 8. So I can kind of break it up as two separate transformations. On the one hand, it's reflected over the x-axis. So to do that, we have to put a negative sign in front of the whole graph. And the point that was at 1 now is at 2. The point that would have been at 4 is now at 8. So there's a stretch factor of 2. Stretch of 2. If on a test or quiz you wrote that as a stretch of negative 2, whoa, I'd give you full credit for that. I think that's a fine answer. The new equation will be y equals negative 2 times whatever the parent function was. This was the parent function. I frowned at the corner of the screen because it made a weird noise. I don't know what that was. So that's my equation. The domain of this new black curve, if I go to the left, it keeps going. If I go to the right, there's an arrow, it just keeps going to the right. It goes to the right forever, it goes to the left forever. The domain is all real numbers. The range, as I go down, it goes down forever, but as I come up, it approaches this line, but it never reaches it. So on a number line, it's on the y-axis, it goes up to y, but it never quite reaches that point at 0. So the range is going to be y is less than 0 this time, and the asymptote is y equals 0. So we're definitely putting a lot of ideas together. If it seems like it's a scattered mess today, I do want you to think really hard about all the other work we did with domain and range and transformations, and we're just applying that to a new function, and hopefully it'll start to click and make sense. Good luck.